Make sure to be a member on the channel, link is in the description. Hello guys, once again it's Matt and another video on the F-14. Today we are going to test it out on a dogfight and various conditions against the MLD, which is kind of the best aircraft that we have right now in the game. So yeah, we are testing out, first of all, we are testing out, yeah, that was a really bad mistake. My GAN capabilities in this aircraft is just really bad. But we are using, me and my friend, we are using automatic wings now. And then we're going to test with manual wings, and after that with BVR missiles. So yeah, as you're going to see, it's very with the auto wings, it's very close to each other. You know, we are not using any payloads, and we are using 20 minutes of fuel to just be kind of in the same spot, you know, to eliminate some variables in the dogfight. But as you see, the instantaneous turn rate of the MiG-23 is way better than mine, at least in auto wing. He just can outmaneuver me in the first two corners and stuff. But then after that, if we went to a one circle dogfight, in a rate fight basically, I start losing as well to the MiG-23, so you have to be careful with that. Everything is subject to change, obviously, but yeah, once we get it to a vertical, it's kind of surprising that the F-14 actually can win kind of easily against the MLD, which I was not expecting actually, because these engines are kind of underpowered to the size of the F-14. I mean, it has less power than an F-4. But it's basically because of the aerodynamics capabilities of this aircraft, you know. As you see, I'm pretty bad at the gun right now, so yeah, there's some deaths in my part that were basically because of me not getting the guns on target very quickly, or not committing enough in a head-on. But as you're going to see, we are doing the best of fives, you know, so fives, if you get 3 wins, you basically win. So yeah, we are in the third, and I got kills, so it's 2-1 to the MLD. And yeah, I think, to be honest, in a dogfight, this is where it's going to be the most, the normal dogfights that you're going to see. Basically using auto wings, because most of the players don't use the manual wing sweep. So yeah, I would advise you guys, look at the instantaneous turn on the MLD, man, it's just amazing. But I think that if the pilot can learn how to use the manual, he will have a significant advantage. Like when you are facing the MiGs right now, you see that they normally don't use the manual modes, and you kind of can win the dogfight sometimes. So yeah, if you use it, learn how to use it, and you will be better than most players. There is another thing that you have to consider that we are going to test it out in a bit, which is the payload. Of course, normally you will end up getting into a dogfight with some missiles, some weight on the aircraft, and that's where the MiG-23 actually shines, because the missiles and the amount of missiles and the amount of fuel that the F-14 have is just too much, you know. It's really a really heavy aircraft with its payload, you know, so you have to think about that. But it is pretty cool because you can take like 6 barrels, and the M7F, of course, it's really good, and even if you get 2 Phoenixes, they're pretty good as well. So yeah, 2x2, and this is the last dogfight. I think this is the last dogfight for the auto wings. And I think I died again. So the MiG-23 actually won, but not exactly because of me. Or I think this is the last one, maybe. Yeah, I think this is the last one, but I don't know. Anyway, as you're going to see, I try to push to the... I mean, look at the instantaneous turn. And the continuous turn of the F-14 will eventually get the MiG-23. But I just think that if you get to a dogfight like this with the F-14, try to get it the other guy with a vertical loop dogfight, always a little bit better, apparently. There are some things that you have to consider. Of course, the main thing is that everything is subject to change. Remember, guys, this one has the 412 engine. It has basically a max power output on a static. Remember the figure, static position of 80 kilonewtons. So yeah, the power on the in War Thunder is right now because this is the first variant of the F-14. There's a lot of people in the comments saying that the F-14 is supposed to be a little bit stronger and stuff, or a lot stronger, have the 122 when moving, and right now it has 92 with air, you know, with installed in the aircraft and flying at certain speeds. But you know, this is not the version that we have, if I'm not mistaken, on DCS, for example. So there is very specific models to the F-14, and this is basically the first one. So the engines are very underpowered compared to the B variant and the more advanced and more modern A variants of the F-14. So yeah, remember that. And yeah, obviously we are getting this really early version because we probably aren't getting anything besides maybe new missiles for the MLD. I don't know, but not even that. So yeah, it ended up being that we don't need more advanced weaponry than this. You know, I think the F-14 is the correct choice, and it's probably going to be a little bit of a power creep, just because most nations don't have an MLD. You know, if you compare to France, for example, the Mirage F1, it's not even close to a MiG-23 MLD or an F-14 or other aircraft like that. So you ended up not having a counter to it besides the MiG-23 and maybe the Kai, the EJ Kai, because of the radar and it receiving AIM-7Fs, ended up being a little bit of a problem to balance it out, you know. But I think soon enough we will receive some more stuff. Remember, this is the first F server, and there are already like 3 or 4 aircraft that are in the files right now, like the Intruder and the MiG-17 PF, made in I think it's Czechoslovakian nation, or it's Poland. I don't know. It's the Ling 5 or 6. I don't remember. And other aircraft like the MiG-25, for example, can be received in the next patch, in the next dev server. So we have to remember that. I'm going to be here we are using the straight wings, the manual wings, as you see, and even flaps sometimes, to actually help. And this is where the F-14 shines a little bit better, you know. I think with the manual wings you will have an advantage against the MiG-23. And yeah, it's just they're very comparable, you know, but there is some variables that we are not able to actually do. Like for example, sometimes my friend was like a little bit faster and I am a little bit faster and stuff like that, and it just becomes that a thing of, you know, it depends on the pilot, you know. So I think the main thing is that we are going to depend on the pilot itself, okay? And now we are going to check it out with BVR. Of course, I'm dumping all the missiles as fast as I can, and he's trying to fire the R-24 at me. It's an advantage that I have a very powerful radar and a very good gimbal limit for the radar, and beyond that we have a very good missile, which is the AIM-7F. Together with the Phoenix, yeah, it's pretty good. But the R-24, as you see, also pretty good, almost got me there. So you have to be careful still. I mean, I think at close ranges, the R-24 can be better than the AIM-7F, to be honest. And the AIM-7F is just amazing at longer ranges, you know. And the Phoenix will be great, but you know, it's a 16G missile. It's more of a very long range weapon, but It's not the most maneuverable missile ever. It's still very capable, but I'd still take the 2 Phoenix, 2 AIM-9s, and 4 Sparrows loadout, which I think it's the best one. Being not carrying 4 AIM-9s just because it's the AIM-9H, it's not that useful in top tier anyway. So yeah, the tracking rate is 20 degrees, but it's basically it turns the same as the AIM-9G. So yeah, and we ended up getting into a dogfight, as you see, and with manual wings and stuff. So I think it's just a matter of a pilot, you know. I think the F-14 can have the advantage normally, you know. It has the advantage in most of the situations. In BVR, obviously, it has the advantage. Even though the pulse Doppler radar, you have to bear that in mind. The pulse Doppler mode, the STT, I think it's called, mode of this radar is really, it has really high blind speeds, you know, close to the APG 59 kind of thing. So you have to be careful, because if the guy notches, the missiles are going to just die, you know. And even the Phoenix, it's a lot better than the AIM-7F against a notching target, way better, but still not the greatest thing ever, you know. You can still notch it, you can still do a lot of things with it, and yeah, in BVR this is basically the thing, you know. But in other situations, the dogfight, as you see, you have a little bit of an advantage as well, you know. But as I said, I think if the BVR engagement, if you're going to talk that the BVR engagement, it's more like the weapon systems that is going to have to do all the job, and you have to just know how to use the systems properly. I think in a dogfight, you will just have to consider that it depends on the pilot, you know. Most of the MiG-23 pilots are good, but as you see, most of the kills that I'm going to get in these situations are the BVR ones. So it's just, it's so many missiles that it's hard for him to actually evade. Of course, I would never do this in a dogfight. In a match, I would just launch one Phoenix or one AIM-7 and just turn away, you know. But against 6 missiles, it's kind of hard to actually evade all of them, you know. And the AIM-7Fs, of course, the Phoenixes are making him lose the energy, and these Sparrows are just getting him. So yeah, that's the reason why this advantage in systems for BVR. I think it's the reason why we need the MiG-25. Remember, a lot of people, it's complicated to talk about this subject, because a lot of people are really big fans of the F-14 and think that every single version of the F-14 is the B variant or the D variant, which has an amazing thrust to weight and stuff like that, but it's not true. And it's the same against the MiG-25. A lot of people just say that it's a very bad aircraft, but it's just not the case, you know. It's a very good aircraft, and in game would be one of the best aircraft in BVR. The Sea Vixen being in the game and being very effective, and the F-104 being in the game and very effective, even without the cannon, just shows that we don't need a very good aircraft at dogfighting to be a good aircraft. Every single aircraft has its own type of flying, okay? So always remember that when you're flying an F-14 or any aircraft, and just remember that the MiG-25 would basically be an aircraft that would make the way that it works. I mean, I think it would be like a MiG-23 would be the medium kind of thing for dogfights and stuff like that, just like the MiG-21 is right now for the MiG-23. And the MiG-25 would be the BVR kind of part of the team, okay? So the objective of the MiG-25 would be to fly high, to intercept the F-14s and kill them with the R-40, which, remember, it turns just as well as the R-24, and it has a very long range of the RD. If they would put the RD version, would be 60 kilometers of max range, so effective range would be similar to the AIM-7F, of 20 to 30 kilometers. 30 is a long way, but like 20 kilometers would be the effective range of the R4DRD. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of doctrine, basically, because the F-14 can do everything. It can do good dogfights, good BVR. It is still a very heavy aircraft, and with the payload as you see right now, it's just I cannot win a dogfight with it. If I'm using full tank and missiles and stuff, I'm too heavy for a dogfight. So yeah, the F-14 can do everything. It's kind of jack of all trades for the Navy, with a focus on the interception things, on BVR. And the Russians would be the different thing. Two aircraft doing two things. One for dogfights and medium range BVR, and one for medium range BVR and long range BVR. So basically this is it. I hope you enjoyed, and that's why I really want the MiG-25 to be a counter for this. We don't need the MiG-29 right now. We don't need the Sukhoi 27, and I don't think any other nation would receive something that it's properly good. Even the Mirage 2000, for example, if we're going to put it, it's going to probably die a lot for the F-14, and all the other aircraft are probably not going to be added. The Tornado is already denied. So yeah, basically I think the MiG-25 PD or PDS would be the only variant that we should receive, and we could receive, that will be a counter to the F-14 on the BVR side of things. Okay, so I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to sub, be a member, and click the little bell icon down there, and I see you guys on the next one. Bye.